I'm on TV. Welcome to a bit. Let's start the show.
Bit of company and a chat. A bit of company and a chat. Bit of company and a chat. What's better than that?
Hey Camerado, you're tuned in to a bit of company chat, and this is the one where we're all alongside each other. Please join us in welcoming to the screen today's host, Maff.
Good evening! Hello everybody, how you doing? I'm very excited that you're with me in my living room this evening, wherever you are watching, on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or wherever. Hello. I've got the tux on for you this evening, and I've put the fire on, and I thought we'd just have a bit of company and a chat. It does what it says on the tin. And this episode this week, which I'm very happy to be guest hosting and co-hosting, is about being alongside each other, and the fact that with this pandemic has made some of us feel a little bit lonely and disconnected. And as the nights stay dark in winter and the dark days of the pandemic continue, what's the answer to all these tough times we're having? Well, it's not rocket science. And in the Camerados movement, we literally think the answer is bit of company and a chat. I don't know why I do that high voice thing. I don't know. This is it. We're going to spend some time together. You are going to put nice things in the chat and say hello. And as I say, this is brought to you by Camerados, along with our great friends, People Voice Media. Because tonight you're going to hear people's voices. You're going to hear them from my lovely co-host, who's going to be telling me their experience. You're going to be hearing other people in the chat. You're going to be hearing stories from all over the UK and around the world, gathered by People's Voice Media, people talking about their experience. And some of you out there might still be thinking, what is this Camerado thing? What is that yellow C on his lapel and in the corner of the screen? So we're going to show you some voices from our wonderful movement, so you don't have to listen to pale, stale male me. So take it away.
Good morning, Camerado.
Good morning, Camerado.
How you doing?
Good.
People have that ability inside themselves to sort their own lives out, and I think what Camerados does, it gives people that human space to do that, and to do that together where everybody helps each other.
We are Camerados.
So, getting the idea? Cup of tea, a chat, maybe some fairy lights. Something happens to the human brain when you see fairy lights. So in a public living room, which is what we call these places that you saw there, that we create throughout the movement, we always have fairy lights. We might have a piano, a fire if possible. And it's about being more human. We don't tell you how to live your life. We don't get up in your face and try and fix you. There needs to be space to be alongside each other and be a bit rubbish and get down into the hole alongside each other. So would you believe it's rare, much rarer than you think. So if you want to join in with this, you don't have to fill out a form, obviously. Go to the website, and we've got a few principles which help people connect and stop them being an arse and inhuman to each other. So go and check them out and dive in. We'd love to see you. And so tonight, slug of wine. Oh, hold on a minute. I've seen a comment there from Yvonne suggesting that the reason I was singing high was because my trousers are too tight. Well, Yvonne, I'll have you know, in true lockdown spirit, I am not wearing trousers. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for me to stand up right now? Pajamas. Yes, dinner jacket on the top, cozy pajamas, and fluffy sock on the bottom. Isn't this what we always do? Every evening is like that in my house. So we're now going to introduce our wonderful co-host. Every episode has someone from the Camerados movement coming along to have a chat and talk about their experience. And I'm going to give you a clue as to the surname of this gentleman. What if I was to play this? Got it? Or how about this? No, still not got it? How about... No? Nobody? Come on, someone in the chat. What's he called? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here he is. A gentleman who has become so important in our movement, and yet we've never met. I've never seen his lower half. I have no idea if he possesses legs. Here he is, Mr. Sam Moon.
Hello, Maff, and welcome. What a lovely introduction. I thought I'd wear fez to match your lovely dinner jacket tonight. And
beautiful.
It's a fine evening to be with you by your fireside and piano.
Oh, it's great to see you, mate. And a fez with a Camerados badge, which I think should become the compulsory uniform for every Camerado. And you seem to have a very fine T-shirt on tonight, Sam.
Yeah, I'm donning Danny from the Bass Street Kid T-shirt here, which is kind of one of my favourite. I think he's the original Camerado was Danny from the Bass Street Kids.
So that's the Beano. Bass Street Kids.
Yes. So
he was he? I thought everyone in the Bass Street Kids was a tearaway and a tyke. Well, I suppose Camerados are actually.
Absolutely.
Oh, splendid, mate. Well, I thought perhaps it was a nod to our sister movement, our great friends in Be More Pirate. Do you know about those folks?
They're awesome.
Yeah. If there are any pirates in tonight, make yourselves known in the chat. I'm being asked if did I just twerk? Was that a twerk? Did I just twerk? I don't know. Possibly. I got into trouble this afternoon, Sam.
Is that right? It's not like you, Maff.
Thanks, man. Well, I was doing a show with Paula, and I think you've met Paula in a spoon room now and again.
We have.
And Paula and I were talking about a dance we did at Christmas, where she and me were twerking, and it was a Beyonce tune, and whilst trying to quote the song, I said, it's the one that says, put a finger on it. And I got a lot of stick for that, Sam.
That should be the sequel song. Maybe that's something you can work on.
Yeah, put a finger on it. There you go. Put a ring on it. So, Sam, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm so grateful. You know, Sam, I got to just say what an amazing fellow you are, because people wander into our public living rooms in normal times. And as you know, we created these things called spoon rooms, which is a Zoom call that you wander into and meet strangers and just be alongside each other. And, we'll talk about that later. And you wandered in, and it's as if I know you now after a year and we've never met. It's amazing, isn't it? It's
really strange. I think that is like a lot of people having similar experiences, and you say a lot of kind of things. I think I stumbled in. I think it's almost that kind of wandery kind of curiosity. Oh, I'm in this place, and here I am. And but like I think a lot of people have found these online spaces where getting alongside strangers just offers so much in a place that, if you'd been talking to me 12 months ago and say I'm going to be talking to people all over the world or meeting people I never met, I'm going to be meeting people and never seeing their legs, then I'd have gone, what are you talking about, my man?
Yeah, well, and doing a TV show together with a complete stranger. This is it's crazy. Did you do any face-to-face stuff in your community at all during the pandemic? Because tonight's show is all about being alongside people and connection. And I wondered what that meant for you in the pandemic. You tell us while I stoke the fire.
Stoke away, Mr. Potts. So that is a fine stoker you have there. So whilst I envy your stoke ability there, I shall talk about what's been going on the hood here. So I live in the area of Norwich, a fine city, and I have a kind of a job with the local council around sort of community staff. And my kind of world has been kind of community and young people and stuff like that for a long time, and that's kind of that's my thing. But just before lockdown kicked in, thought that, hey, maybe this is a time to see if there's an opportunity to reach out to other people who live where I live and like set up one of these WhatsApp group things.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people have been doing that, haven't they? Yeah,
absolutely. And so fortunately, I had a few friends in the street, because even though, kind of been doing this thing and I do community and all of that kind of stuff, I still felt a little bit nervous about that. Really? And a little bit like, oh, if I do this, are people going to like it? And
do you know
going to say that's a bit rubbish? But I thought, no, I'll ask my friends. I'll start off with my friends, and sent them a little WhatsApp and said, what do you think about popping a letter around to other people in the street about setting up a WhatsApp group? Not knowing what's going to happen. There's that time where we didn't know what's going to happen, but it kind of could feel it. And so that's what we did. We kind of, probably the last time, we probably all sat around a table and ran a laptop and kind of wrote a little letter. And that day we posted it around a few the households in the street. There's probably about 60 households or so, right, kind of in our little kind of cul-de-sac here. And
did everybody join in, Sam?
It was amazing. So I was thinking maybe they will, maybe they won't. And people started just kind of, we did a letter, we said what it's about, and people started joining the WhatsApp group. And so each person kind of welcomed to that. And by the end of that day, there was probably half the street. And by the end of the week, as people started to kind of see what it was and other people talked to one another, most of the household who wanted to join had joined up. And there's like at least 50 households on there, and then sort of other people within it.
And what were you doing for each other? I just would like to know what the point of it was.
So it was the whole, what we wanted to do is really around just be there for one another if we needed to, because we didn't know what was going to happen. And so it's really that bit where you think, well, maybe it's a good idea to build relationships with people before you need them and they need you. But it turned into just this beautiful thing where people were sharing things. Someone was at the shops. Then we went into lockdown, and people were going, well, I'm at the shop. Does anybody need anything? And people would go, I need some carrots, or I need some potatoes, or could you pick me up a pint of milk? And so that's what was happening amongst the street. Whereas before, a lot of people, some people knew one another, but some people were strangers to one another as well. And began to help one another. But people, you had young, the kids in the street putting up jokes in the tree.
Brilliant.
So people weren't able to get together with one another and have that time people were kind of sharing their own things, and then sharing that amongst the group. So
that is great. I love that. Jokes in the trees, yes. So that reminds me, Sam. We're saying to everybody who's watching, what would be your version of jokes in the trees? What is your bit of action? Now, bit of action means something else in normal parlance. To us, it means no talking shops. Camerados, we don't sit around all day changing the world one latte at a time, stroking our mustaches and reading Nietzsche. We get on with it on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and we just do something and we make an arse of it and we fix it the next day and have another go. So we want people to come up with ideas, please. Bit of action, stick it in the comments in the chat. We also, actually, while I'm here, we want them to come up with some words, don't we, Sam?
Definitely need some words, some of those wonky words.
Tell them what a wonky word is, Sam.
So a wonky word is that kind of jargony word that maybe organizations or people use to kind of say something that doesn't really make any sense. But for them, it does make sense. But for everybody else, they're scratching their head going, what do you mean?
Yes. So we need people to stick in the chat anything that makes people things instead of humans. In Camerados, we have this saying, be more human, because it is very, very easy for even lovely, well-intentioned, very kind people to make people feel like a label and an object. So what has done that to you? And it doesn't have to be jargon. It can also be a phrase. This afternoon, Paula and I both had an aversion to anyone who says chill or pull yourself together. So that might be your wonky word. Anyone, basically, who's a complete wonker. I think you know what I'm getting at. Okay, so I just, before we go to the next segment, I am just noticing in the chat that Brett thinks that I might be up for the next James Bond. Thank you, Brett. I just wonder, am I more Roger? Am I more Sean? Or a bit Daniel Craig? Answers, please, on the postcard. I'm also seeing in the comments that people, Sam, are suggesting we have a legs-only spoon room. A Zoom call.
Yeah. I think he's got legs, Maff.
Hey! He's here all week, folks. Try the veal. A legs-only.
We lost 5 people then. Yeah.
I think for the rest of this broadcast, I'm just going to do it like this. Okay, there we go. We need a spoon room like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm my producer's in my ear saying, "Will you two stop wittering on?" So, okay.
I think I'm gonna do a side profile for the rest of the session. I think.
Oh, I like that.
Just
yeah,
like that.
We could try.
It's how politicians talk to one another. They don't do eye contact. They do it like that.
Yeah,
not looking at you. I'm going to answer the question like this.
It hasn't taken long for the fabric of this TV show to disintegrate. It's exactly how we like it at Camerados. Okay, so we need somebody to speak sense. So now we've got the next segment is all about that.
Then we all go. I've been feeling weird, I've been feeling like I've gone crazy. I've been feeling weird, I've been feeling like I've gone crazy. I've been feeling weird, I've been feeling like I've gone crazy.
Oh, so I'm very happy to say that little ident there had some music, Sam, written by a young lad on my street.
That is awesome.
I know, he's going a bit mad. He's 18 years old. He's doing his nut in the house, and he recorded some music and asked me what I thought of it. And I said, mate, can we use it for our TV show? So
streets are full of gifts. It's amazing.
What did you just say?
Streets are full of gifts.
The streets are full of gifts. You're a poet, Sam. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Hey. So we are now going to a lady full of wisdom, because in the Camerados movement, we don't believe in fixing each other. We believe in getting alongside each other and just sharing a bit of wisdom, a bit of company. So let's hear the wisdom of Sally.
Aunt Sally's words of wisdom.
Oh, I know, I'm really sorry, but yeah, can I ring you back in 5 minutes? I promise, 5 minutes and I'll ring you back. Oh, it's another lockdown. The kids are still at home. And we're still trying to keep them focused. And we're cooking and we're cleaning and we're still ironing. But amongst all this chaos, people are feeling quite isolated. Well, I'm going to give you 4 tips on how to reduce isolation. Tip number 1. Why don't you write to an old friend that you haven't seen or heard from in a long time? It'll make them feel less isolated too. And it does make me feel less isolated. Give it a go. What's this? A card.
Oh, that's really nice. I haven't heard from her for a long time.
Tip number 2. Why not pick up the phone and ring an old friend as well? It's great to chat along to someone you haven't spoken to for a long time. I just went down my phone book and did a mystery point, and it was great. I'm now speaking to a girlfriend that I haven't seen since school, and that was a long time ago. How are you doing? Long time no see. Tip number 3. Recommend a series or a film to your best friend. This is the one my friend recommended to me, and I can't get enough of it. I'm absolutely addicted. Married at First Sight, Australia, along with most of the population. Tip number 4. Connect with somebody via a video link. There's Zoom and Skype and Jeans and Teams. It's not as difficult as you think, and someone will always help you. And it really does make you feel connected and reduce that feeling of loneliness. But can I give you a tip? Go into video settings and put enhance your appearance on. It really, really irons out those wrinkles. And it's really taking years off me. Hi Isaac, nice to see you. Been a long time.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Aunt Sally's words of wisdom.
So those are Sally's bit of action. What are yours? What have you done? Please, 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 let's hear it, because that's one of the things we want to get out of tonight. We're a movement that is constantly listening and asking. So please tell us what your bit of action is. But if I can just say, Sam, as much as we love Sally, and she's an extraordinary woman, I feel a bit duped.
Do you, Maff? Tell me.
Well, look, she wasn't cooking anything in those pans. Come on, was she? Number one.
It's a fraud.
Well, secondly, on the phone, is she a nuisance caller, Sam? I think she's a nuisance caller. And the thirdly, what was that TV program she likes?
I think it was Married at First Sight Australia, which I might have dabbled with myself.
Oh, Sam, please, really?
I have dabbled, but there are other things to watch as well.
I do believe there are. Yes, I have to say, I'm also completely out of touch because everyone I've mentioned that to has said, "Oh, it's great, it's fantastic." So I'm obviously watching the one things. I have to say, I'd love to hear from people in the chat what their lockdown TV was. What have you been watching? Your family. Oh, by the way, Sam, your entire family are watching.
Hello, family. It's fantastic to have you alongside.
Hello, Moons.
They're all there.
Give us a moon.
They're all very awesome, especially my younglings.
Yeah, well, I also happen to know you have a spectacularly awesome missus. So, Fiona, if you're there, hello. So, sorry. Anyway, we were saying, what have you been watching in lockdown, man?
Oh, it has been an opportunity to do that. So, I just finished watching Mandalorian.
Oh, love it! Love the Mandalorian.
Love that. And Billions. Watched that. That is very good. Succession. Now we need season 3. Hanging on for season 3. When's that going to be? So yeah, how about you, Maff? What have you been watching?
Well, the first lockdown I was watching, like everyone else on the planet, I was watching that Normal People thing about 2 kids in Ireland, and then I got into the next popular thing. I'm a bit of a populist, really, I guess. The Queen's Gambit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which was fantastic. But my kids were starting to play chess, so I was very happy with that. Yeah, I've just been nudged to say that it's time to get to the next section. So roll VT.
Help me explore just how much I love him and how important he is to me.
Gorgeous.
Cracking puppets.
I'm loving the puppets. As you know, I'm particularly proud that the Camerados movement has finally brought puppetry to social justice. It's very important. So we are going to. This is my favorite bit of the show. No offense, Sam.
No, I'm not offended.
Good man. Not easily shocked. This is when we go and listen to stories that we've been collecting. We love these new friends of ours, People's Voice Media, and they have helped us gather stories. It's a great way to feel close to people, is to listen to their stories. Stories are so important to our movement. Please send us your stories. So we're now going to hear from some people and what they've been through lately.
I've found my friend. So
tell me about a friend. What is it?
So this is my spoon, and I've been joining events like Spoon Rooms, and it's really, really good for talking and getting support and be with like-minded people and to talk about some of the challenges, but also the successes and rewards.
We're tired. We're just tired of that lack of personal contact, that not talking to people face to face. It's just, it's energy sapping and it's soul destroying in many respects, I think. That personal connection is just missing.
During this time, I've also become a member of the Bury Mutual Aid group, which is purely voluntary. I'm one of the coordinators, so I receive all the referrals and I have to then divvy it out to the volunteers in my group. I've got to know my community very well through that, actually. I know Radcliffe, where I live, like the back of my hand now. And it's led me to meet some very lovely people. During that time, I've discovered that the isolation and loneliness really is a huge problem, and I'm very worried about that. So we're looking at ways to try and help. This Sunday, actually, we are holding unfortunately it's on Zoom, but we're holding a winter conversation. So we're calling it Sunday Lunch, and this is the Bury Mutual Aid group. And where we want to talk to the community and others, just ask them what are their worries, what are their wants, and to go away and see what we can try to do about it.
Yeah, it's been quite tough. I mean, I'm in a flat of 6 of us there are. So it hasn't been totally, it's not like when we had to isolate, we were just on our own. We've still got some people to interact with, which I think really has made quite a difference. If anything, just for my own sanity, having someone else to talk to is obviously very important.
I got to tell you, Sam, that last fella, we know him really well in the movement. He's a lovely lad called James, and he is normally bright as a button, such a go-getting, wonderful guy, and he just looks so down and devastated about student life under the pandemic. And I just feel so sorry for all the young people who have been whacked by this, don't you think?
Yeah, it's been really tough, and you wonder where their voice is in this. Unfortunately, through some of the things that capturing those stories has given a platform for that. But I think in terms of that is really tough. I mean, I think everyone's kids and my kids are sort of having to navigate that themselves. And then some of the ways in which they're finding their way through it is through kind of gaming. But it's not just about like the gaming, but they're on the Xbox or whatever, talking to their friends and able to kind of socialize and get together like that, which is at least a tiny little bit.
The only thing is Sam, my kids are probably watching this, and I don't want them to be saying to me after that, you see, Dad, gaming is good. All that time I spend on the Xbox, Dad, you see, Sam says it's all right. No, I do know what you mean. There was another story there from Selva, who was talking about mutual aid groups. Now, actually, that's a wonky word that I can get behind. I mean, we might not call it mutual aid all the time, but you and I are big fans of that, aren't we, Sam? The whole
yeah.
In Camerado, we're not really into the kind of benefactor-beneficiary relationship, which is I'm amazing and I'm being generous, you're feckless and you're grateful. Mutual is kind of, we're both on the level, we both know where we're coming from. And I loved Selva's story about how that happened in a community. And I just really hope beyond hope that that's one of the things to come out of the pandemic.
Yeah, it would be good to see. And I think across the country, we've seen that. And in Norwich, we've seen that as well. And then so some of the bits I got involved in was being able to kind of link in and build a few sort of get to know a few of the hyper-local groups. But then one of the nice things that came off the back of the thing that the WhatsApp group that we set up here is with my neighbour. He works at the university. And then through us chatting about the jobs that we did and the things that we were finding, set something up. And so that was quite exciting.
Yeah, no, that's Yeah, that's brilliant. I've got a real buzz out of seeing people rise up, because it's been this really mix of thinking, hey, I've just discovered I have a community. And then on the other side, this kind of disillusionment with a lot of central power. I see someone in the comment has put they think that the puppets, the Camerados puppets, should be running the country. I think they do run the country, puppets. Oh, a little bit of politics there. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, what else is in the chat there? Oh, Fiona, your missus says hello. God, it's there's just a little thing going on between me and Fiona now. So
It's all right. I'm upstairs. I've got no idea what's going on.
Well, there you go. And I'm glad to see. Oh, look, Fred Oodley, who happened. I know Fred Oodley. He says that I'm a bit more of a Roger Moore. I'm very happy to hear that, because he's my favourite Bond, the most unappreciated Bond. I'll take anybody on.
Yeah, and I totally agree in terms of those comments about in terms of getting to know your community. They've been really lovely. So in terms of one of the things I saw at the weekend was that somebody new moved into the street, and so they went on the WhatsApp, and within by the afternoon there was 14 neighbours all saying hello.
Hey.
To a new neighbour. So it's just those tiny little bits of action that make a big difference.
Funny you should mention bit of action, Sam. Roll VT.
Seems to be so random, and it affects people in such different ways.
I've been feeling weird, I've been feeling like I've gone crazy. I've been feeling weird, I've been feeling like I've gone crazy.
So, Sam, what do you think people can be doing? I see that people are putting jokes in the trees. They're a big fan of your jokes in the trees thing there. Obviously, the WhatsApp group going, yeah. I have to say it's a slightly tricky one, because my street was wonderful, but didn't want a WhatsApp group. It was there was a strange sort of feeling about it. Some people felt they were on enough already, and some people didn't. Some of the older people didn't use WhatsApp. What we did is every 2 weeks we got out on our doorsteps and sang. I took my piano out, and everybody contacted me with their song requests, and then we handed out song sheets, and the song sheet would say requested by Muriel at number 29. She wants Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. I can tell you that was a challenge. And I was joined by different musicians each fortnight, and we ended up with a band, and it was such a lovely thing to do with my community. And would you believe that now the neighbour whose carport we played in has put a blue plaque on the wall saying that it took place in the year of lockdown? It was like, what other bit of action do you know? I mean, you've got to tell the world about your amazing Fine City neighbours, mate. I am such in awe of what you have done in Norwich. Can you tell the world?
Yeah, we can tell people about that, and I think it's about those little things. I think sometimes when people think about action's a big word, but it's just that tiny little thing you can do. So don't make it difficult for yourself, and that's one of the things that we've kind of trying to put across. So me and my neighbour who helped set up the WhatsApp thing, and that was a tiny thing that we did really, but then became a big thing. We through a little network that we set up went on to, with sort of money from his work, in fairness, went on to create a campaign and a website called Fine City Neighbours. So it's City of Norwich, it's like Norwich, a fine city, so hence Fine City Neighbours. So it's a Norwich-based website, but it's there for everybody, and it's basically to inspire people to be more neighbourly. And we created a postcard, which I'm just finding at the moment. So a little postcard like that. Look, how about that on cue? A little postcard that was designed.
Very nice.
And it's a campaign really just to encourage people to be more neighbourly, but then a link to the website, so finecityneighbours.com. And on there's lots of resources and downloadable stuff and links. There's a Camerados link on there, and there's also there's lots of other links, but also there's a Lost Project, which is another fantastic organisation.
Brilliant.
Really just to encourage people to be a bit more neighbourly, with a message of kind of building relationships with people before you need them and they need you, but lots of light things in there without being tourist, and a big message of you don't need permission to be a neighbour.
Yes,
and that's the big, and that's the biggie.
Absolutely, mate. God, Sam Moon, he speaks the truth. I got to say, I'm a big fan of all that, mate. Particularly the fact you chose neighbours, because we don't have to call ourselves volunteers. We can just be neighbours. We've got bits of action pouring in now, inspired by you, Sam, your geezer. We've got doorstep singing. We've got notes through doors, dancing in the park with headphones. Yes, let's all go do that. Do our own little secret disco. That's brilliant. Fantastic, folks. Talking about input, we are now going to hear what people have said about something else.
Do you have a dog?
Yeah, I have 4.
4. Oh.
Now telling them to shut up because I'm filming kept me sane with dog.
Hey, you! Watch the show.
Okay, so we've got a few wonky words coming in, Sam. I don't know if you can see
Fantastic.
any. Man up. Yeah, I've got a big problem with that one.
What does that mean?
I know it's one on so many levels. Man up, isn't it? Really? Probably we should all woman up if I'm to be.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I was like, I was dancing with that. I said, should I say that? I go, yes.
Well, I just said it. There you go.
You jumped in there for me.
We got services. Yeah, I mean, there are wonderful people in wonderful services, but I mean, I guess.
Why I man woman up?
a Geordie woman. Services is someone's put there. Yeah, no, I do agree. There were wonderful people working in services, but we just think that perhaps people don't like to feel like they're a service user. Oh, Brett has put high intensity user. Yeah, I mean, I know a woman who is a big hero of mine who works with high intensity users, but the whole point of that service is actually to bring some humanity to the health service. So I don't know if you've heard of high intensity users, Sam.
I haven't. Although I'm probably, I'm kind of probably guilty of using these words myself. But in terms of it's trying to navigate their way. But no, I've not heard.
There are people who dial 999 lots of times a day, or they turn up to A&E 20 times a week, and they put huge pressure on services. And of course, it's because they're going through pain. And they're going through a hard time. And this friend of Camerados, Rian, she's amazing. She works with them in the most human way. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't call them high intensity users. World beating. There's a good one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I'll throw in lessons learned amongst that one.
Lessons learned. Yeah, that's a good one. What else we got here? Yeah, experts by experience. Someone has put in. Yeah. Oh, experts has been used a lot during the pandemic. There. Another one is words like curate and a strong narrative. They do my head in. I think
let's do a weak narrative or mediocre. I like a mediocre narrative. That's kind of and aspire to be average every day.
Yes. Aspire. I watched Amadeus with the kids this weekend, and it finishes with a guy saying, "Here's to the mediocrities. I'm your patron saint." We've got navigate. And get a life. Yeah. Get a life. Yeah. How does one get one of those then?
I don't know. Mate, can you get that on like a shopping channel these days, or
it's in the middle of Lidl?
I think it is. That's my favorite aisle.
Yeah. Oh, synergy. Oh, yeah. That's another good one. Okay, so I think we've burnt the wonky words.
Put them on the fire. Stoke that fire, Potts.
Looking the wonky words on the fire. Yeah. Okay. Let's all try and stay human, folks, and get rid of those wonky words. So now it is time for the stars, often called the stars of the show. Take it away.
I'm also sort of just realized that how much stressed actually I've been through the period, which I wasn't aware of.
Hello. Hi. We are back, baby. Yay! Camerados are letting us back out to play for a bit of company chat. Can I come play too? Hey, sure.
It's life, puppet, but not as we know it. Yes, folks, this is the movement that uses puppets. No one else does.
We're the first.
We're the first, and I'm ever so proud of it. And we've got to thank the wonderful Pip and Cat, who are the friends of these puppets, and they bring them along because they're real, Sam. They're actual, real, sentient beings. Anyway.
I know that. You're making it sound as though they're not.
Oh, no. Shh, the kids are listening. And these puppets are going to bring to life some of the stories for you. Roll VT.
Ooh, look at this. I'm on the television. I'm on TV. Ooh,
What I miss is my friends, seeing my friends, because I don't really have many friends, but I can see people, different groups, which is positive. I can, groups online, like one of them I go to in Lancaster near me, they have them online, like they have quizzes, or they even have a disco on Zoom.
I do have a neighbour, and I bumped into her on our little lane and chatted to her. I've kind of forgot what 2 meters was. When I found out what 2 meters was, I was actually quite shocked. And I started thinking, I've got to drink and sniff cider vinegar, because that will get rid of this virus if she had it. And that set up a little thing. So every time I touched a bit of post or my shopping was delivered, I then had to drink cider vinegar and put it up my nose. And then I thought, that isn't an average thing to do.
That's not an average thing to do, is it, Sam?
No. Yeah. What is that? What do you take from that, Maff?
Well, I think that, we do try and, we do try and bring company and joy and silliness to people's lives, and we don't want to get too depressing. But it does make me worry, Sam, that actually when we come out of this, how traumatized is everybody going to be? I think, people are going to still wear face masks because they're very nervous. They're going to worry about things they're touching forever and a day. I mean, I'm worried about that,
There's a danger of forgetting how things were to kind of going back to the new Norman.
Yeah, the new Norman.
Yes.
Is that your way of avoiding the word new normal? Because it's
I'm re-owning that
new Norman.
I'm afraid the new Norman.
Well, somebody got in touch with me, a fantastic fellow called Chris Dabbs, who works up in the Northwest. Amazing guy, and he also is a fellow jazz fan and sends me wonderful clips. But he got in touch with me after this afternoon show, and he said, there were some people who are going to be so used to being isolated and staying at home that they're not going to go back out again, or they're going to find it hard to go back out again. And, it's not a service. It's not the NHS. God love them. It's not anyone that's going to stop, going to help them. The only thing that's going to help them get back out is you and me and their neighbor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's been really tough. And in terms of, again, we're talking, then going back to young people going back into school, then coming out of school, and then going back into school, and then coming out to school. And so we've all got these kind of really difficult things that we've had to kind of deal with, where it's hard to know which way's up a lot of the time.
Well, can I just say to everybody listening, if you've been on a roller coaster of anxiety with what Sam's talking about, the school thing, if you're a kid, or chronically lonely if you're trapped at home, or like me, I have a head that doesn't always work and I'm up and down all the time. You know what? I think when we come out of this, the Camerados principle we all need to fully embrace is it's okay to be a bit shit sometimes. Okay? It's okay to be a bit rubbish. It's okay to fail. Give each other a break. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mate, it's been so lovely spending this time with you. I've come to the end of my tea. It's a little bit cold, actually. And I think it's time to take the tie off and show people that I tie my own bow tie. Thank you very much. And jacket off. And it's time to call it a day. I just want to say thank you to all the people who contributed their stories, to Sally, to the puppets, to their friends Pip and Cat, to all the people who sent their stories in and who worked with People's Voice Media, to the people behind the scenes, Leon and Selva and Chris and Yvonne and Kat and Haley, all the people driving the show. But most of all, mate, I really want to thank you for being my bit of company this evening.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for that really pithy response.
That was Q Sam, wasn't it? And I was like, I just did my amazing impression of being vacant just for sort of 30 seconds there. I wasn't sure if you were thanking the audience or you were thanking me, but I realised that the audience can't respond other than in a comments box. So it's been an absolute joy, Maff. I was just my professional, my sort of charade kind of sort of dip just in the last 30 seconds. Thank you for being here. It's been a privilege and a joy.
And now it's time to say goodbye. And I just, really want to thank you for hanging out with us, Sam. I want to thank everybody who hung around with us. A bit of company is the answer, people. Honestly, it ain't much more complicated than that. Please come along to our spoon rooms on a Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, if you fancy a bit of company and if you want to look out for someone else. Find out on our social media. Bring a spoon. It is one of the loveliest things that's ever happened to me, actually, in my life. I will go as far as to say that. Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. as well. Find out about Spoon Room. Come along. And it is a lovely thing. And keep in touch with what we're doing. If you want to hear more stories, go to People's Voice Media website. And to finish, we're going to go out with something very special. So Sam and me were both on a Spoon Room when a young lad called Sam said, I really like this I'm a bit shit sometimes thing. So how about you write a song about it? And so I went on Twitter and said, come on, world, somebody write a song about it's all right to be a bit rubbish. And the response was amazing. We got a fella who just taught himself the piano, did a song. We had someone from Abingdon sending some lyrics, and we had all sorts. But we had my mate David Harrison, who's an amazing author, publisher, musician. And he wrote this song, which will see us out. And if you hang on to the end of the titles, you'll see Dave in his house playing his ukulele. But Sam, do you want to just say goodbye to everyone?
Goodbye. And thank you very much for joining us tonight. And thank you, Maff. It has been an awesome, memorable experience. And it's been a pleasure being here with you.
Just like that. Just like that. Man with a
face. Just like that. With a face.
Thanks very much, everyone. Please tune in next Tuesday at 12 noon and 7 o'clock. And we're going to give them a salute, the Sam salute.
That's the
Cheerio. One. Take care.
Sometimes we're all a little bit pants. A not so happy day when things don't go our way. And in between the rubber, the green, the roll of the dice, the way the cookie crumbles. Sometimes, almost all the time, we're all a little bit pants. A tad under par, but that's who we are. And even finding rhymes is harder than you'd think. Sometimes we're all a little bit pants. A not so happy day when things don't go our way. And in between the rubber, the green, the roll of the dice, the way the cookie crumbles.